to watch some more of the pros and the would-be pros looking to take them down here at Grand Prix Pittsburgh. Hello and welcome to round 14 here at Grand Prix Pittsburgh. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined in the booth by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Buehler. And Randy, we are watching not Mark Morrison and Matthew Reyes.
No,
we
this
are
is
watching
Cuneo, right?
Andrew
Yeah,
Cuneo
that's
and
definitely Andrew on the left.
Stefan Berrios. And this is, we talked about pros versus would-be pros. Stefan Berrios is actually, coming off of a Pro Tour top 8 at the end of last season.
True. Andrew Cuneo coming off a Pro Tour top 8 about 15 years ago. Has about 304 top 25 since then.
Just stringing them together.
Yeah.
You always make top 25, you're always invited to the next one.
Yeah, no, you hit platinum. And Andrew did hit platinum. 1 point short of Worlds, though. That was definitely a disappointing end to a good season for Andrew last year.
So, Infect versus Grixis Twin. So, Blighted Agent comes down for Andrew Cuneo. A Thought Scour from Berrios. And that looks like a Jace. It is. Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
It's important to get the Pro Tour stamped one, not the regular one.
You could tell he's played with that one a little bit more. Using the checklist cards that come when you open up one of the packs with the double-faced Planeswalker cards. You get a checklist card.
Yeah, not a fan. They just don't look as good in your hand. I mean, I know people do it largely because to make sure your deck's not marked, right? If your sleeves are even remotely translucent and you can see that, oh, that's a double-faced card, then your cards are considered marked. So most pros don't want to have to worry about their sleeves. They just play with checklist cards.
So the question you always have to ask yourself when you're playing against Andrew Cuneo.
Am I dead yet?
Am I dead yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think Berrios is right to just tap out for Jace. All right.
Okay.
Now we're hitting for 2. Looks like just 2. Got a Distortion Strike in his hand. What else is in there? Oh, Glistener Elf.
Glistener Elf is going to be the target for that Distortion Strike next turn.
Is that a...
It looks like a Might of Old Krosa.
Okay. So 1 Giant Growth. If he goes Distortion Strike on Glistener Elf plus Might of Old Krosa, that's 6. If he attacks with just the Noble Hierarch, that gets it to 8?
Yeah.
No, that gets it to 7.
Gets it to 7.
7's a lot different than 8. Can he attack with all 3? Does that mana work? It does, right?
Yeah.
Just forget about the Exalted, but fire up the Nexus. I think he can attack next turn with 3 evasive Infect creatures.
Of course, when your opponent has blue, black, and red mana available to them.
Of course. We're playing against Grixis here, so you got to figure there are going to be some removal spells over there. And I don't know that Stefan is going to tap out again.
Well, he is.
Oh, wow.
But it's going to be for Kolaghan's command.
Aha. Interesting. Oh, it's Mutagenic Growth, not Might of Old Krosa. So Mutagenic Growth can, in fact, save Blighted Agent, though the Distortion Strike gets discarded to Kolaghan's command. So no Might of Old Krosa changes the math significantly. Now we're in dink away for 2 at a time mode.
But we're also in Jace's now a Planeswalker mode.
Wow.
Pick your poison here.
Yep. And Andrew is empty-handed next to that Kolaghan's command. Fire up the Nexus. It's funny how attacking with the Nexus doesn't actually turn a profit since it doesn't get the Exalted trigger.
all the return from graveyards for Stefan Berrios. He just drew a Snapcaster Mage. He can bolt here. With Snapcaster, he's got a bolt in hand as well.
And he has a Snapcaster?
Yeah. With both players sitting on 11 and 2, important to, the players still playing for a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Playing for pro points, playing for an invitation, possibly for Stefan Berrios.
Yeah, the way this top 8's going to break out, you're going to need to be 13 and 2, but I don't know, maybe half the 13 and 2s are going to get in. I think you're going to also need to be in the top half of the tiebreaker scrum. There are currently 8 players who are above these guys. So the 11 and 2s are currently tied for 9th through 39th.
Wow.
30 of them with 2 rounds to go.
All right, here comes a Distortion Strike.
All right. Not bad if this creature survives, but...
Yeah, Andrew is just already putting it in his graveyard. Animate the land. Attack. Snapcaster Mage. Comes down.
Yeah.
Returns the bolt. Eats a land. The Blighted Agent couldn't attack because it was -2'd by Jace.
Yeah, and I think Andrew knows at this point that Grixis maneuvered this game exactly the way he wants to. It's a pretty bad matchup for Infect. Grixis just has so many kill spells. Yeah, I mean, Andrew's capable of winning quickly enough before Steven can get all this stuff online. He wasn't able to do it this game.
You think it's unlikely he wins a game on turn 7? Though?
No, he's not going to win from here. Right, his wins are usually going to come quickly. I think we've got one player in this top 8, by the way. Aaron Webster, who was our last man standing undefeated. 39 points now with Affinity, so he's gone 1-1 since we saw him win that undefeated showdown. Putting him at 13 wins. Okay. Oh, no, that's 13-0, isn't it? Right. So he won last round to go to 13-0. So even if he loses the last 2 rounds, he's 13-2.
So Jace returned Colligan's command to kill the Bladed Agent. The second Noble Hierarch ticked the Jace down to 2 loyalty. But Andrew is still empty-handed, and Stefan has looks like he is in a good spot here. So makes one of the Noble Hierarchs -2, goes to attack with the other one, and a Deceiver Exarch comes down. All right. There's another Jace is going to flashback something. I wasn't able to see what that was. But it got spell pierced, and another Jace gets played by Stefan Berrios, who attacks for 2 with the Snapcaster Mage. So Noble Hierarch can't actually even get through the Deceiver Exarch here.
Yeah, I'm looking at these top 4 tables now. There are, like I said, there's 8 players who are above 11-2 right now.
Okay.
So wins there, and they're hoping that they can draw in next round, although there aren't enough of them for all to be able to draw. Table 1 right now is an Affinity Mirror.
Oh, wow.
13-0 Aaron Webster versus 12-1 Robert Cucinato. Affinity versus Affinity. Aaron should be in even with loss. His breakers will be great. Robert essentially playing a win and hope to draw. Table 2 is Robert Long versus Tim Turner. Blue-Red Twin versus Red-Green Tron.
Wow. The Tron deck has just kept trucking along, huh?
Oh, yeah. Table 3 is Derek Campbell versus Corey Burkhart. Derek's on Jund, Corey's on Grixis. And then table 4 is a couple of 34-pointers, so a loss and a draw already, but total control of their own destiny. Andrew Solano's Elves. Michael Seymour's white-black tokens.
Oh, wow.
So 7 different decks amongst the top 8 right now. But Affinity is the double. And the undefeated. All these Kolaghan's commands people are added to their decks. I did not expect Affinity to have that good a weekend.
Plays a third copy of Jace Frenzy. That might be just on chump block duty for...
For what? The Noble Hierarch that's going to get, like,
yes. Well, it protects his other Jace.
Sure.
Or he could let it die. He
right.
actually is going to let it die.
One.
I would rather just flip a new one.
Yeah, I mean, you turn a profit on loyalty and you get a loot out of the deal.
Okay. There's a Blighted Agent. Thinking about casting a Pestermite here. Decides not to, decides to hold it back. There's a Lightning Bolt. Should be, yep, bolt you, activate Jace, Lightning Bolt you.
Yep, game's been all but over for a little while now. Now it's actually over.
To still, to give you the still had all these, he also drew a Snapcaster Mage off the loot, so he could have gotten that either way. Wow. Okay, Stefan Berrios takes game 1 there. Who's Craig playing on the back table?
Craig Wescoe is playing against Denis Ulanov.
Denis Ulanov's on Amulet, right?
Yeah, yet another Amulet player.
And this is green-white hate from... Wow. So, pays 2 for the Leonin Arbiter.
Wow, this might be the mythical game Marshall's been waiting for. It looks like Denis resolved a Primeval Titan. It got exiled by Path. And Craig may actually win after Amulet resolved a Primeval Titan. I haven't seen that happen this weekend. I knew Marshall's been hoping to see it happen.
Well, we've seen it seem like it might come close.
Right. It never does, though. Somehow they resolve one Primeval Titan, and they're always, they get a Teleria West, and they refill, but this board position has to be good for Craig.
So Ulanov goes down a mana there on the exchange from Ghost Squatter.
Wiltleaf Liege, Brimaz. The Arbiter is certainly good tech. Wonder if we saw a Primeval Titan without getting any lands? Plausible.
It's quite possible.
Right? If Craig goes Arbiter and Denis goes Titan, you would run it out there just a 6/6 trample, right? Hope your opponent doesn't have a path. I don't know. I'm just speculating, trying to rebuild the game from the graveyards.
Well, I think that's the only real way to explain
True.
The mana development for Ulanov here.
Yeah, no, it must have been. It must have been, Amulet, Arbiter, Summer Bloom, Titan, but no search.
I mean, look at the situation Ulanov's in. He's considering paying 2 here so he can cast Summoner's Pact.
Well, do what you got to do. Man, that Ghost Quarter knocking him down a man is a big deal here too, right? Like, can he even get to 6?
He might be going for a Azusa here.
Yeah, he's going for Azusa. Summoner's Pact for Azusa, which he can cast with the mana in play, giving him 2 extra land drops. Plus, he hasn't used his land drop for the turn. So hypothetically, that would be 6 for prime time. We'll see how this plays out from here. So is he... He does die if he can't block. What's he holding?
He also dies if he doesn't pay for his pact.
Also true.
So, you could see another Ghost Quarter for the win.
I don't see much in his hand. What is he up to? All right. Blue mana.
Right. So he floats
bounce
the blue.
land.
Yep.
Oh, there's a tech edge on Craig's side. That's why he's being so careful here. Craig is absolutely going to tech edge. What? You got back to 4? Yeah, kill your bounce land.
Okay. Play Azusa. And they just...
I mean, he's going to get 2 land drops from here, right? I think he's out of bounce lands, though.
All right. We'll give you... I don't see Denis surviving.
That's a chump blocking Azusa, right?
Yes, it is.
He's just sleight of handing and digging desperately. Oh, yeah, picture. We got to see this. If the Primeval Titan, Bloom with a Titan is actually going to lose. I don't want to cut away. Marshall can come back and watch it on video, right? Watch the replay.
Well, this isn't our replay match, though, so.
No, I just meant if Marshall wants to see the unicorn.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Digging is Denis
Sleight of
Ulanov.
hand from Denis Ulanov. Serum visions. Yeah, I think he's just chump blocking here. I don't even know if that, with the Wiltleaf Liege, I don't even know if that matters.
Right, he has a pax to pay for, too.
Yeah. And
oh, by the way, Smiter. Now, is the chump block even enough?
I don't think it is.
No. Not even a chump block is good enough anymore.
He's also going to get a 2-power.
I'm not sure the chump block was good enough in the first place. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
You're dead. I don't care if you
defeated
resolve
your
Primeval Titan. We did it. All right. Well, let's go see if Cuneo can deal with the not just Grixis, but Grixis twin.
Yeah. And we've seen, interestingly, we've seen a fair amount of Grixis.
We have.
Grixis control
right.
in the tournament, not Grixis twin. So Inquisition of Kozilek from Stefan Berrios. He sees.
Is that the Corruptor?
Yes, it is. Wow.
Yeah, so 2 Infect creatures, 2 Giant Growths, and a Spellskite. Pretty solid hand.
You have to take a Spellskite here, right?
You are a twin deck. He's a lot. How much twin and how much control is he? He's basically twin with Jace. Yeah, Jace Inquisition. He's really split the difference.
He actually took the Blighted Agent here.
Wow.
Decided he didn't want to have to deal with the unblockable creature.
Yeah, he cut all the permission. That's what's going on. There's no Cryptic Command in this deck. There's no Mana Leak in this deck. Stefan Berrios has basically taken the blue-red twin deck and replaced the permission with black cards.
Black cards and red cards, right? It's like what he's relying on to control
Yeah, I mean,
the
he's got Kolaghan's Command, he's got Inquisition, and he's got 4 Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the Grixis control decks don't play all that much permission as it is.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt, Terminates.
Interesting. Well, Andrew's going to take the window while Stefan's tapped out. Get in there. Take 5 poison.
Yep, just animates the Inkmoth Nexus, and Might of Old Crows is it for 4. So 5 Infect.
Only the 1 colored man is a little awkward here. Can't cast the Corruptor. Can't fire up a second Nexus.
So the Taxing Probes, whoa.
Just Kolaghan's Command, Lightning Bolt, and Snapcaster. That's all he's got for removal.
And, you know.
And then a Tassiger to
and then a
refill
Tassiger
later.
for the, mid-late game.
That's a lot of removal spells. Spellskite, though. I don't know, it just gets Kolaghan's Commanded, I guess? Kill Spellskite, make you discard? Yeah, that's Stefan's play.
Well, now what happens if...
It's 2 targets, right? He can't.
Yeah, it's 2, but he can just save the Spellskite.
He can save the Spellskite,
but he's still gonna have to discard. He discards
there
the
goes
Corruptor.
the uncastable, currently uncastable Corruptor. All right. Well, Andrew's kind of opening up a window. Stefan can no longer 1-for-1 the Spellskite, right? He's got to point 2 lightning bolts at it, I believe, with that hand. Now he can do that with Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt, because he has a 4th land he can play this turn.
But that doesn't leave him any mana to deal with.
Right. Right. He's gonna take him a turn to deal with Spellskite, and then he's kind of out of removal for the next eye. I mean, there's a window here for Andrew. Doesn't feel like it's going to be open long because Tasker can take this game over if Andrew can't win in the next couple of turns. What's Andrew's last card? Do we know it?
We do. Okay. Please, Jace.
Oh, wow. Is it Might of Volcrosa? It is. Might of Volcrosa. Spellskite around for defense. Does the Might resolve, says Andrew? He doesn't know Stefan has 0 permission. But, in fact, Stefan has 0 permission. Yeah. Lightning Bolt. Yeah. Andrew.
I'll remember.
Okay, just checking.
Well, all right,
game 3?
3. Safe to assume Craig Wescoe.
Yeah, we watched the end of it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I wouldn't let us leave. That's for Marshall.
There's our players to watch. Corey Burkhart, 12-1.
Yeah. Playing a win and then hope you get to draw or your tiebreakers hold up this round. Brad Nelson's still in the thick of it, along with Andrew.
Patrick Cox and Samuel Black have both taken the big hit.
Yeah, you see all the 11-2s too. There are 30 players on 11-2 with 2 rounds to go. So this round will cut that number to 15. Next round will cut that number to 7 or 8. And then there's still going to be, 4-ish people above them in the standings.
Yeah. You know that nightmare dream that people have where they're going to school for a test?
Yeah.
And they're unprepared somehow or something's wrong and they're,
Sure.
Neil Oliver would love to be in that dream right now. That's better than how he's feeling right now. He went 9-0-04.
He's 0-4?
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't get to
today.
him on the players to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. Feel bad for him. I mean, it's funny. He's still got pro points he can win.
Yes.
Like, he's on this quest for platinum. He would even just picking up 2 wins from here and getting a 2-point GP finish to count toward his 6 reasonable finishes. 1 feels kind of bad, right?
Sure. Here's that Leonin Arbiter. I was talking before. I don't think you were in the booth. We were talking about that. Just remember that. Get that out of here. We're talking about the guys compiling the top 5 cards list. I gotta tell you, Leonin Arbiter is on my short list right now for top 5 cards from this tournament.
I've also watched a lot of Matt Sperling and Craig Wescoe, to be fair. I don't know how many other copies of this deck are floating around.
The card has delivered, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Ulanov killed it, but then wasn't able to do anything on his own turn. Seems like he's got an amulet with he's missing something. I don't know if he's missing the bounce land or...
No Karus, no... Looks like he has a Pyroclasm in hand.
Sure. We should head back to the main match.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Game 3.
I mean, it won't take very long one way or the other.
Gitaxian Probe. What is it?
Terminate, Colligan's Command, and Tassiger, 3 lands.
So it's a 2-mana removal spell and a 3-mana removal spell. That feels like stuff Andrew could play around. This is Andrew, not Craig Wescoe. Again, there's the graphics.
I love the sequencing also of the Gitaxian Probe before you go and fetch your land, because it could impact that decision.
Yeah, could.
One of the small things you watch the really great players do.
Yeah, they always get the sequencing right. Now Stefan's like, all right, if you're going to spend some time shuffling, I'll go ahead and crack my land. I'm going to spend some time shuffling.
I would like a shuffling phase of the game. It's like everyone has to shuffle right now.
Oh, lightning bolt off the top for Berrios. So he has one card that Cuneo doesn't know about, and it is the worst possible card for Andrew. Now, I think Stefan should just bolt now. Don't give Andrew the ability to save it with Vines of Vastwood.
Right.
Could also terminate now, which is the one that Andrew does know about. That's probably even better.
Right, by the way.
And that's what he's going to do. So main phase terminate.
We have a result from our text table.
Yeah?
Brad Nelson he won.
Oh, wow.
So that's a huge win for him.
Yeah, I think he's got to win it in. I think his tiebreakers are good enough when there's the lightning bolt. Andrew's not happy to see that. Jeez, and Tassiger already.
Wow.
Andrew's got Become Immense.
But nothing to...
well, he's got a Nexus.
He does have the Nexus there, yes.
I think there's a land in there. I also saw a Glistener Elf. I think he's trying to figure out, does he Become Immense plus Nexus for, what is that, 7? Does he play Glistener Elf and try to set something up for next turn? But yeah, he does have the land. He's also got a Sleight of Hand he's got to decide if he wants to cast. Does he know? There's still the Colligon's command, right?
Yes.
Stefan has...
And the Terminate.
No, he terminated the turn
one.
Oh, he terminated.
I'm sorry. Okay, he didn't.
Yeah, he's used the Terminate and the Bolt, so there's still the Colligon's command.
Oh, yes. There you go. I think he might be sneaking it in here while he can.
Go for 7?
Nope. So you just dismember Tassiger.
And now he can play the Glistener Elf and the Sleight of Hand.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a setup turn. Oh, he's going to leave the Vines. Leave mana for the Vines. He's not going to bother with the Sleight of Hand. I think that's the card he's going to discard to the Colligon's command, maybe. And the fact that Andrew has a Vines means he's got both Become Immense and Vines of Vastwood. Which, what is he? Oh, he needs a green source.
He would need a third green
both?
Source to be able to do both lethally, yeah.
Wow, Andrew has slogged his way through this removal, though. I mean, he's got a very threatening position, and with Tassiger dead, Stefan's not actually up to much of anything here. I mean, he's looking over at that green mana. He knows that green mana can save Glistener Elf, but it's not going to get better. So you just go for this. Show me a card, and then you still have to discard, he says to Andrew Cuneo. And now Andrew's down to 1 card, which makes it almost impossible to kill him here.
Second Become Immense?
He can't cast both, can he? 1, 2, 3,
it's
4. It's close.
Well,
I love it's very close. I think he can. He cast the first one for 2 mana.
Right.
2 mana Delph. This goes to the graveyard. He can cast both.
Yes.
How about Become Immense? Become Immense! And there's the handshake. Wow. Had to top deck a Giant Growth and did.
He top decked 2 Giant Growths.
He only overkilled by 3 poison there.
Wow. Andrew Cuneo remains alive going into the last round to play for top 8 here.
Yeah, and his breakers are also, well, they're probably good enough. I mean, he's in the top half of he's in the top 10 of the 30 players who are tied at 11-3.
There you see him and Stefan Berrios talking about the match.
Yeah.
I mean, great hand for Berrios.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 3 removal spells and a Tassiger. Andrew was like, no problem.
So here we are, Wescoe versus Ulanov. There's an Amulet. There's a Primeval Titan. Craig Wescoe won from this position.
No, there was an Arbiter.
Yeah, well, there was an Arbiter. Yeah, you see
Denis has killed 2 Arbiters.
Yeah, you see Pyroclasm in the graveyard.
Right, we saw him dismember the first one. Pyroclasm to the second one.
Yeah, and again, one of Ulanov's Primeval Titans has been pathed.
Sure.
So Craig Wescoe putting up the good fight.
Yeah, but I think this time there was no Arbiter.
Yeah.
So the Primeval Titan, it wasn't just exchange my path for your 6/6 Trampler. It's exchange my path for your 6/6 Trampler, but you're up 2 lands.
And a tutor.
Yeah.
Because you get to go get your Teleria West for Summoner's Pact.
Yeah, now he's in the go get Pact of Negation portion of the festivities. Gotta think Denis Ulanov just has this. Slayer Stronghold is in play and tapped, so I assume this is the attack phase.
He just returned the Slayer Stronghold. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. He returned.
Dismember means this trample over is for lethal. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an 8 power on the Primeval Titan. So we're going to get a game 3 here between Craig Wescoe and Denis Ulanov. Denis in his Kerwin's Game Store shirt. We did a deck tech with someone from that shop at the Pro Tour.
Dan Ward.
You looked at the sideboards for these 2 decks. I mean, we've seen, obviously the Pyroclasms have come in.
Grixis doesn't look super relevant.
2 Pyroclasm is the big play for Ulanov. Wouldn't be surprised if he brought in the Hornet Queen either.
Sure.
Lets him try to clean up that board or hold
that
board
sure.
at bay. Shuffling.
Alexander Haynes still very much alive at 11-2. Ben Weinberg is the guy on top of the tiebreakers right now for the record.
Okay.
But Hayne is second amongst the 11-2s and breakers. Then Brad Nelson's third. They're not going to miss out on if it comes to tiebreakers. Tien Nguyen, Alex Bianchi, then Craig Wescoe, currently 14th. Mark Jacobson, Lloyd Kurth, Matthew Reyes, Mike Sigrist in 18th, Andrew Cuneo in 19th. Probably in control of their own destiny. Then you got to start to worry. You go down from there. It's another place where starting with buys does help. Right? The players with 3 buys don't have round 1, 2, and 3 opponents dragging their opponent's match win percentage down. So when we do get one of these tiebreaker scrums, tend to favor the familiar names just because of that fact. But they still got some matches to win.
All right, so 7 cards. For Wescoe. I don't see Aline and Arbiter. Seems like one of the key cards to winning this matchup.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Ghost Quarter's pretty good too.
Well, they work together very nicely.
The combo is better than either. How many basics does Ulanov have? 1 forest in the main. He does not have the forest in the sideboard like Mike Sigrist does, so Oh, but he has an island in the main. He has 2 basics in his main deck.
Okay.
That definitely helps in a Ghost Quarter scenario.
So Ulanov has capped also Wescoe. Wescoe leads off with a Noble Hierarch.
55 and 56 are starting at the gathering area. Command pods 54, 55.
You don't want your Bloom opponent to be this deep in thought on turn 1.
Also forming booster ground number 71.
So there, I do see, it looks like an artifact.
Yeah, it looks like an artifact. That's where I'm at, too. It must not be an amulet.
Unless he wants to protect it until it's his turn to try to go off.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to leave it exposed.
Possible.
All right, attack for 1. Noble Hierarch exalts itself. Oh, there's Thalia.
Thalia off a Ghost Quarter.
Thalia's going to make things, whatever sequence Ulanov had worked out when he went through those machinations.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
It no longer works. And it probably no longer works a turn later either. Because everything is taxed in that equation. So now he plays the amulet.
Yeah, it was an amulet. Now costs extra.
Yeah. So Summer Bloom costs 3. Summoner's Pack costs 1.
All Ghost Quarter, all the time.
Oh, look at this. And there's a Kasali Pride Mage. Attack for 4 with Thalia, because both those creatures have exalted.
He's just whacking amulet here? Or do you wait? I guess the Ghost Quarters mean if Denis does go for a Karoo, you can Ghost Quarter the Karoo as a response, and then having that amulet sitting there doesn't actually give Denis any value. Still, it's got to be tempting to just get it off the table.
Yeah, I think that's where he's gone. After this match, we've got a replay match queued up for you.
Cool. Is that the Mark Morrison, Matthew Reyes?
Yeah, that's Living End versus Grixis.
Living End still in it at this point.
Players in booster ground 71, seal number 8, and modern number
Amulet down.
These make
There's still a Ghost Quarter alive. Thalia taxing things. So return the Sun Home Fortress.
Jeez.
Say go. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's no way that Growth Chamber's going to survive this turn.
You would just eat it right here with let him trade it for an island.
Yes, I would.
Greg Wescoe gets to attack for 3. Ulanov falls to 11. There is an Aether Vial in hand for Craig Wescoe. He's going to use it. And I guess he's... Oh, wait,
Costs
no.
2. It costs 2.
Yeah. I know, it seems to be thinking about is whether or not he wants a Ghost Quarter and Vial, or leave mana up for a Path to Exile in case anything weird happens.
Sure.
Which also requires leaving 2 mana up. So he can't play the Vial and commit to the Ghost Quarter. Yep. Yeah. It says go. Upkeep. I'm going to get your Simic Growth Chamber. Yes, Craig, how many cards he has in hand? The answer's 3. One of them is a path. Path has also been a real all-star for Craig.
It's a good card.
I mean, it's obviously one of the staple cards of the format, but it's really shown here where he's been able to twice take down a Primeval Titan with it. Batting 500 in those games. Pretty good. Ulanov draws for a turn. That was during upkeep. Oh, there you see a Hive Mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't get excited about that with 2 mana, an enemy Thalia, and an enemy Ghost Quarter. Grip full of spells, too.
Anytime you're playing your Sun home, you're not in great shape. Goes to 10 from his own land.
Is this Azusa? She doesn't get taxed.
Okay. Puts down a Selesnya Sanctuary, picks up the Sun home. Replays it. So he's at 5 lands right now. Problem is he gets taxed casting the Summoner's Pact too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the Leonin Arbiter.
Wow. So you can go Arbiter Ghost Quarter here. Whack the Sanctuary, and Denis will not be able to search for his basic forest.
Attacks for 3 with the first.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, these attacks for 3 are adding up.
Yeah. Denis is at 7.
It's got to be Arbiter Ghost Quarter, right?
Yeah.
Double Strip Mine? Pretty ridiculous.
Here's the Arbiter. Now he's going to Ghost Quarter the Selesnya Sanctuary, basically bombing Ulanov back to the Stone Age. There's an Amulet, but the Thalia has just been too much.
That hand
that's a second mana you need to pay there.
Costs 2.
Craig's on it.
2 Summoner's Pacts in Denis's hand. I mean, and 2 Summer Blooms. Just could have gone off with those cards and an Amulet, but not versus Thalia.
Second counter goes on Aether Vial. Now it's time to just attack with both. He's going to dismember Azusa, and this is going to drop Ulanov down to 3.
I don't know what sequence could get Denis Ulanov out of this. I think Craig Wescoe is going to be playing a win in next round.
Wow. He has just been pinned in here, like you said.
Yep.
Like, you know how the Storm deck gets to, like, have a Goblin Pyromancer in play, Goblin Electromancer in play, and suddenly all these cards become more awesome because they're cheaper? All of these cards become so much more awful here. 2 mana for Serum Visions is just miserable.
He has a Pyroclasm on top of his library, which would be insane, except it's on top of his library and would cost 3. It's close. Pyroclasm would have been kind of nuts here. He's not going to get to it. Just dies.
There's a Gaddock Teague. More hate bears out of the board.
Sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's the game. Craig Wescoe just cut off every avenue possible for Denis Ulanov's deck. He had a pretty good draw.
Yeah, just not versus Thalia.
not versus Thalia, Leonin Arbiter, and double Ghost Quarter.
So for the turbo match, it sounds like we're going to cut directly to the deciding game.
Okay.
We're not going to tell you what game number it is. Could be game 2, could be game 3. All we know is the winner of this game will win the match. Derek Campbell is playing Jund. Corey Burkhart is playing...
No. This is Mark
Wrong
Morrison.
one. This is Mark Morrison playing Living End versus Matthew Reyes versus playing Grixis.
And it's just straight Grixis. It's not Grixis.
It's
twin?
Grixis control.
Okay. Matt's already on 17 here as he shocks and fetches to cast the Serum Disease.
For the Grand Prix competitors, that is time.
These guys are both in the scrum at 11 and 2, hoping that a win and a win will get them a top 8, but knowing that a win and a win at least gets you a Pro Tour invite.
Right.
Even if you don't make the cut to top 8, 13 and 2 gets you invited to the Pro Tour.
Here's Steam Vents.
Players of Modern number 92.
This doesn't seem like a great matchup for the Living End deck, but maybe I'm...
Yeah, it seems all right.
Here's Inquisition of
Nothing
Kozak.
seems like a great matchup for Living End in theory, because the deck is just kind of janky. So what do we got? 2 Cascade spells, a Slaughter Games. I didn't realize this was Deceiver Exarch. Is this Living Twin? I think it is. I heard a rumor that there was a Living End Splinter Twin hybrid floating around. We have not been given deck list for this matchup, unfortunately. That's got to be what's going on. I was also thinking Steam Vents did not seem like the normal turn 1 land for a Living End deck, but makes a lot more sense now.
Living Twin.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Sign me up.
Is it Living Twin? Is it Splinter End?
Splinter End certainly sounds more painful.
It does.
Having actually done that.
Splint Ends?
Splint Ends
Now it's
wins.
a delicious meal, right?
Oh, and we have our Simian Spirit Guide on the board. Monkeys are gonna rumble. So Matt goes to 15 here. Plays Tassiger. That can hold off a Simian Spirit Guide quite effectively.
Yay, I've been handed deck lists. Yeah, it's 7 Cascade spells like your normal Living End deck. Still got the Street Wraith, the Architect, the Deadshot Minotaur, the Igneous Pouncer, and the Carabid. But there's just 4 Exarchs and 4 Splinter Twins thrown in for flavor. It's basically there instead of any of the interaction, right? A lot of these decks will have, they can turn things into elephants and whatnot.
So Slaughter Games has come down naming Remand. It's an odd-looking board state. Okay, Tasker attacks. Mark falls to 12. Matt's still at 15.
Matthew Reyes' Grixis deck. Pretty typical for the archetype. I mean, a lot of dedication for 2-for-1, but the one of that shows you the true dedication to the grindy 2-for-1 plan is the one Muldrifter. That's when you know you're dedicated to value.
So Violent Outburst gets mana leaked. Well, the Violent Outburst
Outburst is
the Living
fine.
End gets mana leaked.
There you go.
I think for rub-ins, Mark Morrison just drew a Simian Spirit Guide. There's a Fulminator Mage. Gonna attack with the Tasker. Going to block with Fulminator Mage and eat your... Which one's it going to be? Creeping Tar Pit. So, cycle a Street Wraith.
Trio. Your next round is beginning to start. Please find your pairings. Team Trio.
He's looking at his graveyard. Demonic Dread is the play.
I wonder what he's going to get off the Cascade.
Could be anything.
How deep is he going to go?
There's the
Still
Living
got
End.
plenty of library left.
Does it resolve? No! Unless he
Wait,
has
does he have the... He said, there it is. Simian Spirit
Guide
Guide. I'll
to
pay.
for mana leak.
No problem. 2 mana, and I get this here mana leak.
And I get an extra Snapcaster Mage. As a bonus, I get your Snapcaster Mage.
Wow.
Yes. That's a different Simian Spirit Guide.
And it's not a ton of power for a successful Living End, right? If the Deceiver Exarch is not exactly holding up his card worth, but oh boy.
Anger of the Gods.
Players in Modern number 9.
It's not going to deal
Yeah,
with,
it's not that bad.
and it's not going to deal with Street Wraith Swamp Walk.
Modern number 93.
True. What's Matthew's life total?
It is Mark's at 9, and Matt is at 15 here.
Okay. So it's like a 5-turn clock.
Yes. Mark wants to read the transformed Jace, which could make it a 15-turn clock.
Igneous Pouncer. Haste. That's what happens after the Living End. Now all those giant dorky land cyclers, you just summon them. You just pay full price and hope that these big dorky bodies are good enough.
Matt falls to 7.
That's-
Mark at 9.
That might be the best Igneous Pouncer I've ever seen. Now, I will admit I can't remember the last Igneous Pouncer I saw.
I'm going to guess a Living End deck was involved. Now here's the Jace.
No, I think it might have been limited. Like, it's a little bit of an off script choice for a land cycler in these decks.
All right. Street Wraith becomes a 1/4.
Jace did plus.
Yep. Attack you.
More dorks.
Deadshot Minotaur.
3-4 off the top.
Yeah, I need to Serum Visions here.
Flashback Zero Visions. Is this actually going to work? There was the Muldrifter, but no, don't have time for that. Or blue mana.
Matt's at 5.
Really? This is going to work?
So terminate. Oh man, that guy. The Deadshot
And another random 4/4. Monstrous Carabid.
Matt's at 1.
Splint ends, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't negate a Monstrous Carabid.
No, sir.
Yeah, Mole Drifter.
Wow.
Mark Morrison, Living End, Splint Ends. Splint Ends wins the match. Very exciting. Okay, that is it here for the penultimate round of Swiss.
Just one to go.
Yeah, just one more to go before we get to our top 8 here at Grand Prix Pittsburgh.